I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am your host, my name is Man, and today we have an interview lined up for you in our Untold Stories. So it's going to be good after having heard and seen all that is happening with local football. I think this program today is going to be good detox, to get rid of some of the shenanigans, wranglings, banglings, and tanglings, and entanglements with the football. We'll be talking with Stephen Morrissey, former Portmore United player, plies his trade in Finland. He has over 300 caps for one team in Finland. Which argues well. I think he's probably one of the very few Jamaicans who have amassed that amount of caps for any one club in Europe. I think probably Ricardo Gardner leads in that category because he spent so many years at Bolton Wanderers. All right, but as usual, we want to do some of the necessary and important things before we introduce and invite our guests to join us. First, let me say this is a good day to give thanks and to give thanks for life. When we have life, we have to give thanks because it is not guaranteed to any of us. So today that we're alive and well, we look to the hills from whence cometh our help. Our help comes from the Lord who made the heavens and the earth. My thought for you today, it is very simple. People never plan to fail. Never plan to fail. People just fail to plan. So, here are 3 things I want to encourage you to do. Prioritize. Get your priorities in order. Have a plan and plod away. By plodding away, I mean one step at a time. They say you can't, how do you eat an elephant? Bit by bit, bite by bite. So I encourage you to take those 3 P's and apply them. prioritize. Get your priorities in order. Have a plan, because people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan and plod away. Take life one day at a time. Thanks to our sponsors, Prestige Finance, lending a helping hand when you need it the most. If you need a loan of up to $100,000, visit Prestige Finance. They are located in Linstead, St. Catherine, Jamaica. You can call them at 876-884-7390. $100,000, low processing fee, no processing fee, same day processing, and 0 to 4% interest rate. Also, big thank you to Launch Legacy. Launch Legacy, where they handle risk and seek legacy for all your personal insurance needs in Canada and the USA. Visit Launch Legacy at launchlegacy.com or call or text them at 647-989-0782. Listen, I also want to encourage you to hit the like button. Once you come on, please hit the like button. If you have not yet, subscribe to the platform. Subscribe and stay a subscriber. Don't subscribe and then run away. Subscribe, and stay as a subscriber. Well, think you have heard enough from me. I won't delay any longer. I'm going to have my guest come on now. I think he has sorted out he has some fancy gadget over there in Finland. So he has to make sure that he's fixing it up properly. Make sure you get a good view of his 12-story, I think, mansion over there in Finland. So if you're ever in Finland and you need a place to stay, you should probably get his number and call him. Authentic Jamaican food, authentic Jamaican culture in Finland. So let's welcome Mr. Stephen Morrissey to the show.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining. Good to have you. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports, Stephen. Yeah, man. How you doing?
Okay, not too bad.
All right, wonderful.
Yeah.
Firstly, what time is it in Finland?
It's 10 minutes past 7.
Oh, 10 minutes after 7. Okay.
Yeah. But it's still bright here in Finland. Like summertime, the light it don't get dark for me. It only get dark for maybe a couple hours.
For only a couple hours?
Yeah, in summertime for a couple of months. Yeah. So now it's 7 and still bright. So that's the life I'm living. Eh?
So hold on. So how do you sleep? You can sleep with the lights?
No,
are you use
like
blinds?
Most of my bedroom it have blinders, so it's like those darkening curtains. So when I put them up, like summertime, it's really dark. Yeah, but most part of the other part of the house is like light. So, but bedroom is quite dark.
Whoa. So how do you know what time it is if it's always bright?
Most of the times I normally have a watch on me, because I don't normally use my phone so much. So most of the time I have my watch. But most of the times I don't normally check the time, like especially daytime, Checking the time just distract you sometimes. But morning time, I normally have like a routine. Like your body know when to wake up when you're used to a certain time. So I normally wake up on time. I do set alarm if it's necessary.
Okay, because I'm just trying to figure out how do you know when it is nighttime?
In summertime, there's no nighttime summertime. It's always bright.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But winter, it's same difference in winter. In winter, it's always like dark. So it's maybe light for 2 hours.
Oh, well, complete opposite.
Yeah. Winter, summer, it's complete opposite.
Man, this is going to be interesting. We're going to get back to this at the back end. But listen, again, welcome. It's a joy to have you. Well-established career, over 300 caps for your club there. Probably one of the only Jamaicans, with the exception of Ricardo Bibi Gardner, who has been so consistent in any one club in Europe. But we're not going to start at the back end. We're going to start from the very beginning by asking you to begin by sharing with us your journey. Where did it all start from you in terms of playing football, all the way to leaving, Jamaica and heading overseas?
My journey started from, I think, primary school in Spanish Town Primary, because I'm from Spanish Town. So then I think maybe 8, 9, I started to play football, and those times I was playing with much older guys from then, because I was really small. So it started from a Spanish Town Primary. So there, I start playing with the older boys, primary school league from in grade 9, things like that. So start from a really young age. Then after that, I went to a Jonathan Grant for a couple of years, and that's like next door. That's like across the street from Spanish Town Primary, like 10 steps.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I started like playing there also. But there I started playing, I think, Manning Cup when I was 13, just turning 14. I think the youngest player at the time to ever play Manning Cup that year.
Okay. There's a little crackling sound. I don't know if you speak or there's a go ahead, let me see if I hear it. There was a little crackling. Go ahead, let me see if I hear it.
Okay. There's like some music playing or something.
No, well, that is on my end. So I can stop that. But there's a when you talk, there's a crackling sound coming from your end. I don't know.
Maybe it's a connection, I think.
Okay, all right. So
because
let's
I
see.
tried to use it with my computer, but it wasn't opening. So maybe that's the problem because I'm using my cell phone.
Oh, you're using a cell phone. Okay, I'm wondering if you had like an earpiece headset that you could try.
Okay, all right. I can try the earpiece. No problem.
Yeah. Okay, so see, we can do that, and then we will get back. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get the headset set up. People, remember, once you come on, please hit the like button. And if you have questions as well, would love for you to put up those. All right, let's go ahead now and see if it's better. Yeah, we're hearing it, but I'm still hearing it. All right, not a problem. Let's go on. I think it's a little bit better now. I'm hearing you.
Okay. So
All right.
I said after Spanish Town Primary, I went to Jonathan Grant. There, I think 13 to 14. The first year when I went to Jonathan Grant, I was playing Pepsi. I was on that 13. So that year I played Pepsi. And then turning 14 the next year, I went to Colts training, this under 16 training. I get the coach tell me to come, but most of the guys who live close to the community from where I was walking there, I meet like 3-4 of them. They're like, where you going? I'm like, I'm going training. So when I went training, I was the only player there for like Colts training, that's under 16. And then the coach like, okay, allow me to train. Like, yeah, you're here, so train with us. And then to be honest, I was so good in that first training session. The next day, 2 days after that, he called my mother, and tell me, listen, I want this boy to play under 19 for me. My mother said, under 19? He's only 14. What do you mean you want him to play under 19? And she was as scared of me playing with all the boys. But then, after I still went training with my friends because they live close to where I live, so I have to pass their house to go training. So that year I ended up playing like Manning Cup at 14 years old. 13, just turning 14 years old. And then that year we win the Walker Cup. And I was a part of that team, Jonathan Grant. 99.
99. Oh, you won the Walker Cup. Whoa.
Yes. With Jonathan Grant.
With Jonathan Grant. All right. And so
yes.
Did you, I know you said you played a couple of years at Jonathan Grant, meaning did you move to a next school?
Yes, I transferred to Glenmuir after that, couple of years after that. That's when I started playing under 17 for Jamaica. I transferred to Glenmuir 2003. I had to sit out 1 year and then play 2004.
Okay. So you played 1 year at Glenmuir?
Yes, 1 year.
Okay. How did Glenmuir win that year? Anything?
Anything, we win the Triple Crown that year.
Okay, who are some of the players on that Glenmuir team we see, if you remember? And you were called today, you were also part of the under 17 team that time that went to was it the Youth World Cup?
No, they went the year a couple of years before. I was much younger.
Okay.
But yeah, that Glenmuir team, of course, I remember all my teammates. Most of them, I'm still friends with most of them. And once I'm in Jamaica, most of them who live in Clarendon. Once I have time, I go visit them. We have cousins at the time, Ricardo Cousins, who was a captain. Chantel Mundl, who I'm still close friends. All of these guys. We don't talk on a regular basis, but when I do see them when I go to Jamaica, it's like, it's natural anyways. And then Eric Vernon, who a couple seasons was like, I think, play at the tournament in those Gold Cup or Caribbean Cup
Caribbean Cup,
years.
yeah.
Sean Francis, Duchesne, Aaron Brown, a lot of these players, even Cornell Lehman also.
Yes.
Most of these players at Donovan Baines, James Thomas, John Ross Daly, Cornelius Henry. So
the big Glenmuir side.
Yeah, that was it. That was there we went
undefeated.
Yeah, we went undefeated.
Yeah, who you defeated in the final of the Costa Cup?
Was it? I think Froome. The first time Glenmuir ever win final. Yeah, I scored like 2 in that final. It was the first time Glenmuir win a final in like 6 or 5 attempts. 2004.
Okay, and then you in the Ben Francis Cup.
Ben Francis. Who played against Ben Francis? I don't remember who we played in the final, but I think we won. I don't remember who we played, but we won the finals in Ben Francis also. So we won triple credit here. It's so long time, but Ben Francis, I think most of my friends would remember. But Ben Francis, we did win the Ben Francis that year also.
And you win Oliver Shield?
Yes, triple crown against Excelsior.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, one of the year where Aleman was, because the first leg, Aleman didn't want us to play in Clarendon. They want both legs to play, I think, in Kingston. And we tell Aleman that at that time, even if he want to play the first leg over Excelsior School, we could play it there. But the biggest, the biggest mistake he made that year is put it in the National Stadium. When our Glenmuir team, with a pitch like that, they couldn't even add a chance, So we're unstoppable that year. They made a mistake at playing that game in National Stadium. We get a nice, pretty pitch to play on. So Aleman made a big mistake. He should have played in the school that year. But we wanted it. They didn't want to even come to the return leg game at Glenmuir, at Brandcourt.
Okay, all right, awesome. We have big up Eagle Republican Kimo Daly. We also have Freddie Butler in the building.
This is one of the guy who many people don't know was a key part of me. Like, I think if I hear this story, he was one of the key part of me transition and then coming to Finland. Freddie Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I have like most of my stories I haven't told because I don't like, my career is so under the radar, so I haven't spoke to so much people about my career. And my close friends and people who are close to me know much about me. Even some people who even close to me don't know so much.
Okay.
So but Freddie Butler
is, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and tell us Freddie Butler. Yeah.
But Freddie Butler is one of the persons. I think I went on a trials in Norway, and he was one of the person who helped me to get that trials also. And I spent a couple of days with him, I think, at his house, I think in America. Was it America? I stopped there. Couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I went to Norway. So Freddie Butler, and the amount of advice I get from him, it helped me even to this day. And I think he was the one, was like instrumental and me to even signing in Finland after that, couple of years after that. But maybe you don't know that story. Maybe not remember the story, but don't know so much. So he's one of the person I have to give credit for, to like keep me grounded and keep me focused,
Yeah, man, respect. All right, sir, Freddie, big up yourself. Continue to do the good work, man. But so you finished Glenmuir and then you went right into the Premier League because you played under 17 for Jamaica. You played under 20 as well.
Yes, and under 23 also.
And under 23, yeah. Right? But okay, all right. So you finish Glenmuir straight. You went straight into Portmore, or you went to some other club?
But the funniest story about that, most people maybe they never know. I almost signed to Portmore before I get transferred to Glenmuir.
Okay.
Because I was like, I think 17 at the time. There was some problems in, not problems, but in Jonathan Grant, that it wasn't like a big problem, but at the time I wasn't sure that I was going back to school because at that time my mother left Jamaica. So I was like most of the time on my own making my own decision, thinking about what I'm going to do. Maybe I should just stop school now at just 17 and then just 16 turning 17 and then continue professional football. But then one evening, I think Saturday evening, I get a phone call from my father, who is not say father, but Jackie Walters. Like, local boy. He always call me local boy, where are you? I'm like, I'm home, coach. He's like, what you doing? I'm like, nothing. Are you still going to school? I'm like, I stopped school right now. It's like, why you stop school? And then I explained to him that, and he's like, okay, don't worry about that. You have uniform. I'm like, yeah, I still have my school clothes. Jump on a bus and come to Maypen Monday morning. And I went to Maypen and then I had some teammates who I play under 17 with there show me to Glenmore. I went there straight to the vice principal office because the principal at the time was Clement Ratcliffe, but he wasn't at school. So I went there and I went to talk to her and, we start to get papers ready and things like that, how to transfer and what to do that I didn't know about. So then I had to go back to Jonathan Grant and get some papers from them. And when I went there, it was a big problem because most of them didn't want me to leave Jonathan Grant. But I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving because at that time they weren't sure about the Jonathan program and things like that. They're going to play Manning Cup again and things like that. So then I went to Glenmure.
Credit to Jackie Walters as well.
Yeah, of course. Jackie Walters, to me, is still the best youth coach in Jamaica, without a doubt.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I see Rudell Thomas says, Portmore United staff, Rudell Thomas. Remember that here. Enough respect, Stephen.
No problem. Big up, Rudell.
Yeah, man. And then Eagle Republic says, can you ask Morrissey if he speaks the language, if you speak Finnish? If he cannot speak the language, people, it's a big problem because the amount of years.
I can, but the problem with it is it's like really difficult language. I understand most of it, but because I don't need it so much, I understand it. When I do need to speak, I speak. If you understand what I mean.
Okay.
So it's like, and the biggest problem with that, when I do get holiday and come to Jamaica, I'm speaking Finnish words to people without knowing that I'm speaking Finnish words in Jamaica. So it's like it clicks sometimes when I try to answer questions or something like that. And then I'm you're in a Jamaica now. So you have to jump back to the Jamaican language,
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So you played under 20, you played under 17, you played under 20, you played under 23. All right. Because you moved from Glenmore, you played in Portmore. How long did you stay at Portmore before you transition overseas?
From 18, I think maybe 7 years or 6 years, or maybe more. Because while going in Glenmore, sometimes I was still going.
Oh, you were still playing
for
Portmore? Okay.
No, just going to the trainings. I wasn't playing because I was schoolboy then. I couldn't play professional football at the time.
Okay, right. Because they had to change that at some point because there was a time when you couldn't play.
No, I couldn't play then. So that was one of the thing when I sit out that year. I didn't play football for 1 year.
Oh, when you sat out at Glenmure. Yes.
Yeah, I have to sit out a year at Glenmure, so I couldn't play football for 1 year.
So, all right. So the first club you signed for was in Finland?
Overseas, yes.
Overseas. Okay, so the first overseas club is in Finland. What was it like when you first signed? Tell us about that experience, because you also went out on loan from that club before you actually came back to them.
No, I didn't went out on loan. I leave. My contract finished and I leave. Yeah.
You left and then you came back.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So tell us about your first sojourn into Finnish football. You have to pronounce the name of the club, because I can't spell the name, but I can't pronounce it. So you speak Finnish, so go ahead.
It's Vassan Palloseura.
Okay, Vassan Palloseura.
Yes.
So and they play when you went there, they were in what tier of the Finnish league?
They were in the top league in the Finnish
Top.
league.
All right. So
Yeah.
tell us about that. Your
Yeah.
first your experience. What was it like?
It was quite interesting at the time because when I came here, I had like a t-shirt, but when I came, it was quite cold, so I had to get a jacket as soon as possible because it was like moving towards winter in September, I think. So I came on a 2 week trial period because at that time I came on a trials 2011 for 2 weeks, and they had like 2 months in the season left. So when I came on a trials. I think 2 trainings before they had a week break. So I had 2 trainings with them before I had a week break. So when I came here, I had to go to a second team who was training at the time in Vaasa. Up to this date, I still have some training clothes from that club because that club was like a big part of me signing that first contract also. Yeah, but the transition coming to Finland was quite easy because at the time we had a Jamaican playing for them. O'Brien Woodbine was playing right back at the time.
Oh yes.
They call him Beckham. He's from
Beckham. Yeah, man.
West. Yeah,
From because
O'Brien.
you have
Yeah,
played
from.
against him when Glenmore and from
Yes,
in the final. Yes.
yes. I make him cry that day. So it's so then the transition then was quite easy because he was here and he helped me, to you know bring me to that club to train with him also because we had a week break and he wanted to keep fit also. So we came training. So after my training session, the coach come to me and say, "Sorry, we're gonna have a week break, so I don't know what you're gonna do in that 2 week, but I'm telling him I'm gonna if I could train with some other team." And he's like, "Okay, make 2 phone call." I went training with that other team, and the crazy is enough is like when I went to that other team to train with them, I wasn't so nervous because in my mind I'm not coming to play with them. So I was like doing really good in training, and then after the second training, the coach who I was playing training with called the coach and said, "Listen, if you guys don't want to sign this kid, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take him." And the coach came. I think 2 sessions after that, he came to watch, but I didn't know that he was there. So sometimes I always hear that you never know who is watching. So then I was like doing my thing, and then after a week, and I came back, they're like, "Okay, we're gonna keep you. We're gonna sign you for the 2 months." I'm like, "Okay." So it was quite interesting, but I get a lot of help from O'Brien Woodbine at the time. And then as I went to that Vaasa EFCO, they play third division here also. Most of the times if I have time, I go watch them still, go watch their trainings and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
so at the time coming here and then signing that first contract was really good.
For
But it
two
was only
months.
for
Yeah.
then so I had 2 months to impress these guys.
So how did the 2 months go?
It went well because but the first 5 games was good, and then after the fourth or third game, I think there was some problem in the team because the coach wanted to start me, but I was so small, and these guys when I came here, I wasn't the tallest person, still not the tallest person, but I was quick, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna play a couple long balls in the first part of the game, so with your height, I don't think you can manage to, they're gonna win the
Hold
headers
up the
all the
ball and
time."
win the headers. Yeah.
Yeah, so at that time he's like, "Okay." But I think they were struggling at that time to get points. I think I came on one game, win a penalty for them, and they win 3-2. That was, and then the last 5 games, I started the last 5 games. The first game I played, like I scored like in maybe 15 or 10 minutes. So after that, I went to do an interview, but it was mostly in Finnish. And the other Finnish teammate at the time was telling me that the fans was asking the coach why he didn't start me those earlier time, and he's like, "Yeah." And you're making excuses, but I did finish that year with like last 5 games I played, I scored 4 goals. The leading goal scorer for the team that season scored 6, and I started 5 games and I get like 4 man of the match in those last
Wow.
5 games. Yeah, so that's how good I was doing that time. So that was the first 2 months. like really interested 2 months of the year when the season is finished. I think maybe second to last in the table, and I bring them up, finish at close to mid table that season 2011.
2011. All right. So it was only 2 months. Did they re-sign you to a longer contract after that for the new season?
But I went back before I signed with them. I went back, and on my way, the last day before I leave, me and
Me,
a
you
guy
came
who
back
live.
to Jamaica?
Yes, I came back to Jamaica, but I didn't play because they wanted to keep me.
Okay.
But I didn't sign before I leave. I signed when I came back in January because at the time there were some other clubs interested in Finland also. So at the time, the agent at the time, me and him had conversation. It's like, yeah, they want to keep you, but they don't sure about their budget for the next season. And at the time, other teams start to contact the agent and just to ask what I'm gonna do for next year. So I'll add like 2 options before I came back to Finland, to Vasa. So I went back to Jamaica, spent 2 months there, and then came back in January and signed for VPS 2012.
2012. And how long was that contract?
Was it, I think, 2 years contract.
2 years contract. All right. So that was 2 seasons. No, 2 full seasons that you'd have with them.
Yes.
During this time,
I signed a 1-year contract.
1-year contract. All right. So during this time, because you had that 2-month period where you were doing well, were you called up to any national team during that time, or were you under the radar?
At the time, no. I was still under the radar up to this date. From that, even from I have been under the radar from my football career start. Jonathan Grant. No, before even Jonathan Grant, I was under the radar. So it's like my career has been under the radar for my entire football career. It's not
but you
based
played
on
under 17 though, under 20, under 23. So somebody would have recognized you to call you to those setups.
Yeah, I like those times when I was under 17. I was in camp for most of those times when I just left high school. I was always in all these camps just before the foreign players come. I was in those camps every time. I get called up, but never represent the country, like never played.
Okay.
So all those times I was in national team, those 2-week camp before they start qualifying.
So you never played for they never played senior team yet, but you played. Whoa.
No,
So how come
never.
I'm wondering how a player play under 17, under 20, under 23 and can't transition to the senior team? Have you ever wondered that?
I've wondered a lot of times, but sometimes when I think about it, it's like after a while, I think interest and to play for national teams kind of dip and kind of drop. And I think even now, because one of my best years in football was 2012, and I didn't get a call for Jamaica. And at the time, I was the only striker who was Jamaican, scored over 15 goals in a season at the time, and never get a call up.
So that was the year when you signed the 1-year contract.
Yes, that was the year 2012.
2012, and that season you scored 15 goals in the top division, the top tier in Finland. Did the team qualify? Because somebody's asking, did the team qualify for Europa League or any stuff like that during your time?
Yes. I played Europa League. Lucky only 2 games because we went to second round in Europa League. But then the first 2 years the first year we went was 2015. I had a knee injury that year. I had an operation that year.
Okay.
And then the other year we went again to Europa League.
You played in the qualifying stages?
Yeah, I played in the qualifying stages.
Yeah. Okay. 2 games.
Yeah, we played like the club played 4 games, but me, I only get a chance to play only the last 2. Was 2016, 17. That's the first time I played Europa League. The other 2 times I was injured.
You're injured. Okay. All right. So that answered that. So you scored in 2012. You scored 15 goals in a season, and you weren't called to the national team. All right.
The leading goal scorer for that season scored 17, and I missed 6 games in 1.5 months because in 2012 I had some art issue. What it wasn't like a serious issue, but in that 2012, I think a player who played for Newcastle almost died. Heart stopped beating on the pitch that year.
Okay.
And then that same year, I had some heart problems. I had a fever and then played 2 games in 5 days. So I was in hospital for like a week.
Whoa.
And then for a month, I couldn't do anything. Like the doctor told me, you can't do anything to get your heart rate up. If I take 10 steps, I stop, check my heart. If it slow down, walk again. So that 2012 was that month that I missed a football. If I'd played that, like those 6 games, I'm sure I would have gotten the leading goal scorer that year. Scored 15 in 20-something games.
All right.
And the leading goal scorer had 15 goals and he kicked like 5-6 penalties. In that 15 goals, I didn't kick any penalty because my team had a penalty taker. And that season I win 6 penalties. So our penalty taker had 6 penalties that year also. He scored them. But I didn't kick any penalty because I wasn't the penalty taker in the team.
Okay, so do you know who was the forward called to the national team? Or the forwards who were being called up, why you weren't looked at, seeing that you were in prolific form during that time?
I'm not sure. I think most times Luton was still playing, and then I think they have a couple strikers who were playing from England and places like that. So I wasn't sure because, to be honest, I only check Jamaica when they watch the scores and stuff about national team football. Because to be honest, I've lost interest. And then the craziest story about that is I had a couple players who come play with my team, couple years who are national team players, and then my coach and teammates always ask me, so why you haven't played for national team? So I'm like, I don't know.
Other Jamaicans have come and played for the club that you're at?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. How many more, and who are they?
Couple, I think after Woodbine it was Keith Simpson, Clennon, and then Gray. Ewan Gray.
So Ewan Gray, Keith Simpson, O'Brien Woodbine. Any other Jamaican played in any other teams in Finland during your time?
Oh, there was, I think, 1 year. I think he played for Cavalier, was in first division. This left footer. I think he played a couple months in Division 1.
Chevron Marsh? Messi Marsh?
Was it Marsh? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was in Finland for a couple months, I think, also. But after that, no, I don't remember. No, it's only most of the times, if a Jamaican come to Finland, it's normally my team that I play for.
Okay. All right. So let me just get a couple. Rudell Thomas says your pace and skill was a disaster to defender, Stephen.
It still is.
And then Eagle Republic is asking, can you ask Mr. Morrissey if he's able to recommend any players to his club or former clubs? Meaning, if you see somebody, yes. Have you recommended, say, hey, I know of this Jamaican guy, I know.
Yes, most of these players who normally comes to my team, I normally recommend them. I recommend a lot of players before, but at the time, when I do recommend these players at the time, most of these players don't have any highlight videos. So I can recommend a player, but when you recommend somebody to somebody, it's not when internet is live, you can go on somebody's WhatsApp story and our Instagram story and see them. But because, here in Europe, they just type in your name, click on your video, and that's it. I recommend a lot of players, but at the time, most of the times I do recommend, I bring videos to the club. They don't get back to me, but most of the players who do sign for my club, once the coach normally, listen, I get some information from agent about this player. Who are these players? I'm like, yeah. Even if I haven't seen them play, I'm like, yeah, they're really good. I think that's how Clennon and Gray signed a couple of years. I tell the coach, yeah, they're national team players. They're really good to have in the team. Keith Simpson also.
Okay.
So I normally recommend players, but when I do recommend them, it's the biggest thing. And even to this date, my club, I rub it in their faces like every time I have the sporting director now. Shamar Nichols was here on trials also. In VP.
Yeah.
He came.
And they didn't sign him?
Yes. And the reason why they didn't sign him, it was the coach and his ego.
Whoa.
Yeah, because at the time it was me and Clennon. And then we have other striker. So I think he just came from a trials in Denmark. Not Denmark, Sweden. I think a team called Djurgården. And when he came, he was a bit young. I think I still rusty, young player.
Yes.
And then he did quite okay in the first part, but the problem is the team didn't need a striker. And I tell the coach, listen, he's young, he's 18, let him sign. And then after, I don't know what really happened. Till one day I heard that he was staying at Clennon Place for a couple of days. And then he went back to Jamaica. And then after that, I tell him, listen, bro, once you go to Jamaica, just don't think about this, go and perform. And I think after that year, he went back to Jamaica, scored maybe 10-something goals in Premier League and get a move maybe soon after that, then in national teams like that. Up to this date, the people who run my club, I tell them this. Because most of them, I think, because every year they bring players from all over, like normally Black African players, Caribbean, and other clubs. And when they bring them, it's because their friend invite them or they have a connection from somebody else. So it's not only Jamaican that when there's this politics, football politics, that affect like a club.
Yeah.
Because that year, every time I get a chance, I tell him, listen, you see, Shamar went there, he signed for this, he signed for that. So, and I think it was good move for him also. Not to sign at that time, but because you see he's in Russia now. And I think things like that only motivate players to do better when they go back in Jamaica. It's maybe unfortunately, but maybe lucky. Things happen in life.
It worked for good. Yeah, that's a good point. That door closed, but the next one was opened.
Next one open.
Yeah.
And to be interested also, I played. Nobody I think know this story. When I played that Europa League game in the second, we went through the first leg. I played in Slovenia. We play a team named Jubileana in Slovenia, where I think Shamar signed the next year in Slovenia.
Yes.
I played them, and after we played that last leg, because we beat them at our home pitch 1-0, after we played that last leg against them, I get maybe 50, 60 texts in my, at the time it's Twitter because I didn't have Facebook, like 50 texts from most of some teams there and other fans from the club and other teams also. Listen, you're so good in the game. Can you tell us about any Jamaicans? And I recommend him to one of those teams. I didn't know if it's a team he signed for because people inbox you from all over. You don't know who is who.
Right. Yeah.
So, and to be honest, even now, I never tell anybody that story. You're maybe the first person, so you get into exclusive now.
That's good. Thank you, man. That's good. But let me ask: is racial issues a problem like in Finland, or you haven't experienced those things? I mean,
in Finland, of course, I went through it, but not while playing.
Okay.
I think it's most of the times is when I go out after a game, you win a game, and when people get drunk, that things like that happen. But I experienced it in Denmark.
Because you actually left
Yes.
And went to Denmark to play for a season.
Yes, but I didn't finish the season. I left.
Okay, tell us about the experience in Denmark. So why did you leave and go to Denmark, and how was Denmark?
I leave because my contract with VPS was finished. They wanted to sign me, but at the time, my agent, there was a lot of offer coming in from all over the place. So there was a lot of offer coming from different clubs. Turkey, I almost moved to Turkey that 2011, like 3 times. Poland, no, not, I don't remember about Sweden, but there's maybe something in Sweden, I think couple. But in Denmark, this team was really interested me in Denmark. So I went there after my 2012 season. I could have went to Poland the same year also. I had some connection, but it wasn't my agent who was actually building the connection from Poland. It was an ex-Vitesse player, the team I play for now. He used to play in that team in Poland. So he was the one who making the connection, not my agent. So a couple of times I linked my agent to him, but my agent was really towards Denmark, because it would be good. I think I was one of the first players, Jamaican players, to sign in Denmark, like sign an official contract in Denmark. I think Luton went there on loan, but he didn't sign there. Or was it the first? Yeah, one of the first Jamaicans to sign in Denmark, top league.
Whoa. So you went there, you played for part of the season. What was it like?
Yeah,
how different, and how difficult was that for you?
It was hold on. I lose my earpiece.
We're still hearing you, man. Yeah.
Okay. It was quite difficult because the
Somebody
craziest
said
story
that Rudolph Austin
played after me recently.
Oh, he played after you, right? Because he came at the back end of his career. Yeah,
So
man. You were the first. You were the first one for real, because Luton Shelton, it was a loan move. I think for Luton.
It was a loan.
Yeah.
So Denmark was a bit crazy, and I think for me, one of the most, it was good I signed there, but quite unlucky. After I finished 2012 season in Finland, before I traveled to Jamaica, I went there on a flight, just to see the club, show me the city and things like that before I came to
Where were you? Copenhagen?
Yeah, but it was no, it wasn't Copenhagen. It was Silkeborg. It's a small city. I think 4 was from Copenhagen.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went there, and the craziest thing, I went there for a day, and just to show me the place. This is, if you sign with us, this is what the city look like. This is the club. So the sporting director was showing me the city. I went to meet the coach, and the craziest thing, they had training one morning when I went there, and the coach is like, "Do you want to come and train with the team?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Okay, just come, warm up." The craziest thing, I didn't bring football shoes. They gave me everything. I trained with the team that morning. It was like, "No, we want you. Definitely, no, we want you." So there wasn't any, I shouldn't have trained. But at the time, the agent said it was okay just to let them know you and things like that. To meet the players I was gonna see back in January, because they had a break in December.
Winter break.
Danish league, yeah. And the craziest thing, in December, before I even signed my contract in Silkeborg, they fired the coach.
Oh, so the coach who wanted you got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So the coach who wanted me got fired, but after I get fired, I get a phone call from the sporting director at the time that, we fired the coach, but we still want you. So at the time, the coach who definitely want me to play for them, got fired. So I went there in January in preseason. They had a month preseason. Was really good in the preseason. I think my football developed there also, because that time we played against some team from Austria, different places. We went on a preseason trial in training camp in Portugal. We played a couple of games against some Austrian team, I think one Russian team also. So football's wise, it's then I know when I went to Denmark, it's so important not to lose a football as a striker or as an attacking player.
Not to lose the ball.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if you lose it, you have to run to get it back. So it's. I know that when I was playing in Portmore, they coach you in sense it's important to keep the ball, But you know, it's in Jamaica, 5-6 pass, you lose it again. When I went to Denmark, you lose it maybe 2-3 minutes before you get it back, because 10, 15, 20, 40 passes and you have to run sideways, up and down. So then my skills and being playing simple improve also, because when I played in Finland, it's only about, oh, you're quick, just go past people, cross, score, and that's it. But in Denmark, it's all about playing up to you, play it back, make movements off, and that's it. So it was one of the who helped me. But then the thing with the coach change, I was playing all those games in preseason. But when we went back to Denmark, I was in the 18 for the first game. Almost came on at the game, but they withdraw that game. I think we draw or win that game. We beat FC Copenhagen. I don't remember. I think we win that game. I think they draw. We draw that game. But because the coach wanted the points, he put on mostly defenders and midfielders, so not strikers. So then when I went back to Denmark, the new coach was only playing the players he's familiar with. He know these guys before.
Oh,
and
okay.
the team at the time was in the relegation zone. Unfortunate for me again to play the second contract I get to go to a team. I think that's one of the biggest mistake I think at the time my agent made for me, was to make it was football wise it was good, but the mistake is my second contract to go play for a team that was
in the relegation zone when you were just coming off one of your best season.
Yes, it would be like for me at that time.
Maybe financially it was better earnings than what you were getting in Finland.
Yeah, so it was definitely better, but playing wise, because all right, I had a 1-year contract, but playing wise, if I had a mid-table team, then if you know the first couple of months to adjust, get used to the team and playing.
Oh,
then
I see what you mean. Yeah. But
so
with a
then it would be different.
Team, with a relegating team, you have to get going right away.
Right away. And then at the time, the coach got fired who wanted me. So because he would want me to play, then I would get a lot of minutes playing.
Yeah, but a new coach coming and he's trying to fight for relegation. He doesn't know you. Less playing time for you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
So he was playing the players who he know before, because he's a Russian Danish guy, German Danish guy. So he was playing the players he know from before, and then he bring in another striker who used to play with him for him also. So he bring in his own striker, plus the team had a striker, plus me. So the first change is a guy we know and trust.
Yeah.
So then I was only mostly playing in the reserve games, and then after a couple of games, the team from Finland messaged them again and said, listen, we see that you play 3-4 games and not playing Morrissey. Can we get him back on loan? They're like, okay. By the next morning, they said no. And 2 days after, they have a game. I play in that game. I came on in that game. And then after I came on, we draw that game. I came on, was so good in the last 20 minutes. Everybody was surprised. They didn't know that I was like so quick and could have played so skillful. So then it was like, after that I get so much inbox from fans. Why haven't you been playing, things like that? And so it's football life is crazy when the coach who wanted you get fired a week or 2 weeks before you actually reach the club. So people would play people who actually they know.
They don't know. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you ended up though going back to Finland though.
Yes.
Yeah. Because they did actually, the Danish club actually loaned you back.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
There was a clause in my contract. Once the team get relegated, I have the option to leave.
Oh, okay. So once I got relegated, you went back to Finland.
No, yes, I went back to Finland, but how I went back to Finland is quite a crazy story, because I was supposed to leave Denmark, go straight to Jamaica for holiday. But I think one of the best decisions I made in my life, I think that 2013, was not to go to Jamaica. I still had my contract with the Danish club. The crazy enough, I came back, I said I'm going to spend, I'm in Europe already. Why go Jamaica, Finland, Jamaica, then come back Finland, and then come back to Denmark. And the craziest thing, I came to Finland just to see friends I was playing in for 2 weeks. I say I spent 2 weeks in Finland, then fly back to Jamaica, you know,
Yes.
and then come back to. So I was in Finland. I came Finland for a 2 weeks holiday with most of my stuff because I was planning to fly from Finland,
Finland to
then
Jamaica.
Denmark. No, I was flying from Finland. Then the team would book the flight from me because I pay my own flight for Jamaica. Then the team would from Denmark would book the flight from me from Copenhagen to Jamaica. So I came to Finland 2013. They had summer. It was like a summer holiday. So I'm like, it's waste of time. I'm in Europe. Go say hi to a couple of my friends I play with and teammate. Maybe go watch a game, and then go back to Jamaica. So I decided to come Finland for 2 weeks on my own, and I didn't even tell my agent at the time. So I came back. I came to Finland, and crazy enough, one day I was like, oh, let me go for a walk. When in Finland, in Vasa, they had this tournament that they keep every summer, like this kids tournament. They keep it every summer, like a tournament. Other teams from other small cities come and play. And crazy enough, I went to the city and some kids see me and like, Morrissey, everybody want to take picture. So they had a photographer who walk around and take pictures of the leagues and games that are playing with these young kids. And then I take maybe a picture with maybe 200-300 kids. So there was a storyline that Morrissey is back in Finland. So there was a speculation if I'm going to sign in Finland.
Yeah.
So I get, after that message start coming from everybody, like, listen, are you coming back to play? Reporters, are you coming back to play? Everybody start to message me. So then I get the contact to my agent and he start to make some phone calls, and then people start to, question what I'm going to do. Then me and him have a discussion and he's like, yes, this clause still in your contract. So if the club go down, you get terminated. And I'm like, if there's option, I rather not go back to Denmark. Not because, just like personal reasons, So I'm like, okay, let me stay in Finland. And look, crazy enough, the team at the time was still the top team now in Finland, the biggest club in Finland.
That's your club?
No, my club is a small club. It's this club from Helsinki, HJK. That's the biggest club in Finland.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were interested at the time. The biggest club in Finland who win the league almost every year, who have the biggest budget in the league. So their sporting director messaged my agent, pay for a flight from me from Vasa to go Helsinki, because in Vasa it's like 4 hours from Vasa to Helsinki by train. They pay for a flight for me to go to Helsinki to meet with the coach and talk with them. And at the time, my club in VPS still was in my inbox every day. We want you to stay. So it's like I had like 3 other clubs who want me to play for them that time when I came back. So it was quite interesting times, like. And then I messaged my agent after I went to talk with that team in Helsinki. And he's like, listen, you have to sign for this team in Helsinki and things like that, because it's the biggest club in Finland. Traditional-wise, history-wise, financial-wise, the biggest. Every year they play these players for Champions League or player for Europa League.
Yes.
So every year they guarantee a Europa League and a Champions League playoff spot. So every year they normally win the league every year. So that time I'm like, the experience from Denmark, and the crazy thing enough, when the team that I'm playing for and the fans find out that I had option to go that team in Helsinki, they write me a letter. Like, write me a letter on Facebook. They post it all over internet. People they write me a letter and put it all over internet, why I should be with them and things like that. Begging me to stay. Yeah.
Yes.
So from then I was like, the fans love me from then. So they write a letter. It's the first time people history. Even it was in all over news in Finland that the club write me the letter. They write the letter, tag me in it, send it to me and put it all over.
Yeah.
And all over the city was my name and things like that. And interestingly enough, I almost signed for that team in Helsinki. Salary was crazy, but at the time, I didn't play so much in Denmark. I just wanted a little bit of comfort, getting back to what I, comfortable and play so I can do my best. Because that team in Denmark, in Helsinki, had 3 strikers. They have a legend who was playing in Everton in Champion English League. They have a young player who, like almost every club in Europe, he was playing with Bailey in Bayern Leverkusen, but he's on loan almost every season. From 2013, they signed him Leverkusen, and that they still have him under contract. And then they have the other striker who was playing with them all the time. So at the time, that club have 3 of the best strikers in the league. And I want to play football. I didn't want to go there to sit on the bench and don't play, and then you get good salary but don't play. And then, crazy enough, I tell my agent, listen, I'd rather get some playing time than just play for money. And crazy enough, the first time in my life, I asked my mother for help in football. Yeah. Because my mother don't like me playing football. My professional career have been over so much years, and my mother see me play football twice. Imagine that. Wow. My mother used to come stadium when I play in National Stadium, bring me to the stadium and stay outside in the parking lot until the game finished. Even when I'm playing in my community and my mother hear that I'm going to play football, she go in.
She can't deal with the tackles, man.
No, she couldn't. She couldn't. The only thing my mother want me to do is play cricket.
Okay, she wanted you to play cricket.
Yeah, and to this date, I think I'm a better cricketer than footballer.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
What? Definitely. You're a batsman. Everybody thinks they can bat,
Yeah, but when I went to Jonathan Grant, I played cricket that year also. Under 14. I think I had the record that year for the fastest 100 in under 14 history. I play sunlight cricket for Jonathan Grant.
Okay. The fastest 100. Wow.
Yeah. And I play one match for Glenmuir against, I think, Stets, St. Elizabeth Technical. They were winning. I think St. Elizabeth or Homewood. I think they were winning that all the time.
It's not Stets, man. Nobody can beat Stets. It must be Homewood.
Homewood. I think.
Because nobody can beat Stets in cricket.
No, Stets. I think it's Stets or Homewood we played in St. Elizabeth on their pitch. And the principal of Glenmuir, Clement Ratcliffe at the time, were first innings, and I start to bat. And it's, I think, 1.5 hour drive, I think, from Clarendon, and he drive from Glenmuir to come watch a cricket match. My first and only cricket match for Glenmuir. Many people don't, I think there's only some of my teammates know that I play a cricket match for Glenmuir. And the worst thing about that, I end up playing cricket for Glenmuir is one evening when I used to dorm in Glenmuir, I live close to that pitch. So I was playing. I see the team I normally go there and feel some ball, throw it back in. And then one day I'm close friend with the captain. He's like, come on, come take a bat. I'm like, no, man, no good, man. The second evening I pass, I'm like, no, let me go. Listen, for 1.5 hour, the coach leave them because the coach had some meeting in the office. For 1.5 hour, they tried to out me on the cricket pitch. They couldn't out me. The craziest thing, I had the helmet on because I don't like to bat in helmet. And the coach came back and I was batting, and the coach was like, who is that? And I take the helmet off, and he stopped the training. I was like, why you make this footballer here? And the captain said, no, coach, you no longer try out him all now. Boom. Crazy. This coach was shocking. It was crazy. He didn't know that I could play cricket because people don't know that I could. Even to this date, I love cricket more than football.
Okay, interesting.
Even
Jonathan
that people
Grant
don't know about my
yeah.
Even Jonathan Grant
is a cricketing school for real. They normally do well in cricket. Yeah,
I play sunlight cricket for Jonathan Grant. People never know that. And at the time, I play football is Manning Cup why I play football. Because at 14, my football career was going faster than cricket.
Okay.
And the craziest thing, I get called for Jamaica under 15 team cricket.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. That's
No,
interesting.
yeah, so you're getting exclusive. You're getting like exclusive things. You're getting. I get called for Jamaica.
Under
And
17,
the craziest
15.
thing, they send it to the office to the principal in the office, and they didn't know me like face to face so much because they don't see me so often. And I heard that somebody like, listen, we need to they get some letter to invite him because that year I make 122, the fastest in. So then I invite me because normally when you make 100 and good scores, they invite you to camp. And the craziest thing, we had a cricket match, a football match, a practice game, and I went and played that practice game and didn't go no camp. Wednesday when I reach school, there, why you not in camp? I'm like, what kind of camp? You know, so me a football match because I was playing with older guys, so it was more interested at the time to play football
than to play cricket.
Yeah.
Let me just get these. Somebody's asking if you ever played with Derva Argil.
Yes, I did. Yeah, he was playing. Yeah, he's one of the players who was playing with in Finland also. I've come married him. I remember. Yeah.
Okay. So you did play against him.
Yes.
Okay. How I mean, how good? Well, Derva Argil is good now because he scores a lot of goals all over in Europe.
This guy is a beast, man.
Yeah. And then Dre's asking how old are you? I think you're 35. Are you going to be 35?
Yeah, 35 and still playing. Yes, surprising.
So your family is in Finland, or they're still in Jamaica?
No, family in Jamaica. My mom live in England.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I mean, how many games have you? Give me some of your accomplishments in the Finnish league, like games, best season, awards that you have won, titles that you would have won playing in Finland.
To be honest, I haven't won any titles in Finland, and it's because of my fault. Because a couple of years I had a chance to play for like the top teams that win the league, and then my club didn't want to sell me, and they were asking for too much. So it's the only award I think I win in Finland was last year when we got relegated 2 years ago. Stay with the club, and then I was best. I get MVP for the Division 1. So last season, Player of the Year last year, voted by the players and coaches. That was to come back to the top league because we got relegated 2 seasons ago. So I get best player that season. And normally, I've been here maybe 10 years, and in my team, I think 11, maybe 7 out of those years, I was MVP for the team almost all those years.
Okay, and around how many games you have played?
Over 300.
For this team, okay.
Yeah, it should be more, but I had injured.
Yeah, best season in terms of goals, amount of goals scored.
It was 2012 when I had 15 goals and I think 9 assists. 2012.
Okay. I mean, all right. I know you say you don't watch a lot of Jamaican football, but I mean, what is your take now on some of the footballers? What are some of the some of the things you'd advise young footballers who are coming into Europe, different climate? Your professionalism is, you have been there for quite a while. What are some of the things you'd say to some of the young footballers, and who are some of the young footballers that you see and maybe I've watched them and you think like this guy could make it in Finland. He could possibly do something in Denmark. Like how you identify a Shamar Nicholson. Are there others, and what are some of the things that you tell them?
Yeah, I do watch Jamaican football when I come to Jamaica because normally I'm in Jamaica for 2 months every year. Only last year I didn't came back because of the COVID situation. And I normally watch football, but the teams I normally watch is mostly Portmore. And then a couple of years was Arnett Gardens. And one of my favorite players for Arnett Gardens is this Fabian Reid. I tried to get him to my team a couple of years ago also.
Okay.
He was one of the players I watched because he reminded me so much of myself. He can play with the ball and he bring the team forward, So he was one of the players. And recently I was on YouTube searching YouTube and I watched one highlight video of this Daniel Green. He's from Mount Pleasant. Is
Mount
it Green?
Pleasant, yes. Yeah, Daniel
Yeah.
Green. Yes.
And 2 days, like when I watch him, I message an agent and say, yo, he's a really good player. He's like, yeah, but I'm watching our next player. I'm like, okay, yo, you need to check out Daniel Green. 2 days after that, a week after that, he scored. This guy messaged, yo, the ball score again, you know. Then again, him score again. Because why I watch, just to slip my mind again, Ricardo Morris was playing here with Finland also.
Okay, yeah. And Ricardo
Yeah, he
Morris,
was.
yeah.
Yeah. So I miss so much game. No, because he played for Mount Pleasant, I watch Mount Pleasant. Mostly I watch sometimes Portmore games, highlights, and Arnett Garden.
Yes.
And Lion. So that Daniel Green is one of the players like this year I saw like clearly, because Sportsmax showed out game now and then when I have time, because most time the game is playing, I'm sleeping, so normally I only watch the highlights. So he was one of the players I saw. Like I'm like, oh, this is really good. To that, the agent tell me, hey, your boy score again. In less than 2 weeks time, I see him in national team. So he's one of the players I saw and said, he's really talented. But I haven't seen so much more because I haven't watched so much.
Many games. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, man. But what are some of the things you'd say, even to a Daniel Green and other players who are listening? Like, listen, if you want to make it in Europe, I know you do these things in Jamaica, but when to come to Europe and survive, you have to be stronger. You have to be whatever. You have to be more technical. You have to be more professional. Fresh. I don't know what it is. What are some of the things?
I think to be more professional, and I think that's one of the things I learned in Portmore also. Learn to be on time. Learn to be humble. I think one of the biggest things is being humble, but not only being humble, but mentally you have to be strong. Like mentality, like seriously, you're like mentally you have to be really strong, because most of the years I've been here, things happen that go against me, and coaches maybe don't like how I don't really interested because they think you don't fit their system, and then they think that way, and then you end up being the player of the season. So mentally, I think mentally I have to strong, like really strong, because I see players come here and stress about the weather, and then you come to Finland. Imagine you come to a country and then wintertime it's dark all the time, and then when summertime come it's bright all the time. So you sleep rhythm and everything off. So I think mentally, and one of the things, you have to be mentally strong, and you have to be willing to make sacrifice. Because to be honest, I've sacrificed so much being in Finland so long. Sacrifice is not talking to family because of time, not communicating with friends. So you lose contact with most of the people you are close to. And if people we are close to just trust you enough and tell, okay, why I don't talk to him, because he's focused there. I think mentally I have to be really strong. Serious. That's the biggest thing, mental wise.
So you have to be professional, you have to be mentally strong, you have to be willing to sacrifice.
Yeah. Those are the things to make it in football. That's the thing. The mentality, most of the time, this mentality. And knowing some, like, I have this crazy experience, and I think today I remember all of these things, when I know that I have to have an interview with you. It's like, I used to get a lot of questions. People used to even, I can't forget these things, that Wendell Downswell used to coach me, I think, under 20.
Yes, yeah.
He said this to the trainer one day. He's like, trainer, Morris, don't let anything bother me. You used to go, things happen. You don't stress over it. Me, things never used to bother me. Coach tell me the worst things, I continue playing. It don't affect me mentally in any at all. Because you say something, I maybe don't like it, but I respect people enough not to answer. Like, yeah, all right, coach, continue playing.
Yeah, you continue. You get going at the job. Yeah.
Because that's one of the reasons why my football career, I think, especially for a striker, was under the radar, because I'm not the person who is going to post a picture that you score goals and things like that. Even if I used to play in Portmore, I score, boom, straight to the bus. Don't talk to anybody, because it's just my personality, to be low profile. Sometimes I don't even know I play football, because the attention, I don't like it. How much Oh, I get this interview. This guy have begged me to do this interview. Like,
Yeah.
seriously. Yo, you need to make people know about your life and things. Yes, important, but for me, if people know, they know. If they don't know, they don't know. Because many people know, maybe see this video, maybe not know, but later don't know that I'm still playing football. A lot of people don't know these
Yeah, a
things.
lot of people didn't know that you're still playing because, like I said, you know, we don't hear a lot about you. We don't hear a lot about your accomplishments. And then,
Yeah.
really and truly, throughout those years, a lot of them, even were struggling to score goals, you were not called up to the national team.
No?
So some of those things, knowing that you're an under 17 player, in
Under
fact,
20,
that
under.
entire Clarendon, that Glenmuir team.
Yes.
I mean, Vernon was in the team for a while, bam, gone. Ricardo Cousins was there, bam, gone.
Yeah.
And Mondo, all of those guys were some very good players,
Yeah.
who never transitioned into, you know, you always wonder why. And it's the same thing with that Frome team that had Beckham, because even O'Brien Woodbine, who was in and out of the national team, though he was having a good career at Charleston Battery and overseas. So that Frome and Glenmuir team, that crop of players, a lot of them never had good, like, regular opportunities in the national team, though they played under 17, under 20, and under 23.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we need to look at as a nation. How do we help transition the players through the system in a way that we can have continuity in the national program and it continues to play our football?
Yeah, even to and I think it's not only that. We have players with, like, I've played with players, to be honest. Me, I play
Sorry,
with
let me just say
Cornell.
this. Don't lose a point, because Dre is saying that outside of the mental stuff you said, this the sacrifice and to be professional, he's saying that you need to tell them that they need to drink more porridge and eat them vegetable too. So I don't know if you drink some porridge, because you're still a small person, you know.
Yeah, I'm still small, but the porridge part is like, of course. And the craziest thing about me and my life, some people maybe know this. My father was a racehorse trainer.
Okay.
So porridge, even the tonics and stuff my father used to give racehorse, he used to tell me this. Listen,
You used to drink horse tonic.
no, they used to make it like how you make it is like you have different ingredients. My father, normally you have some ingredients you taste, and I think it's the same like ingredients. This taste you get in Magnum. When
Yes.
people drink Magnum, it's a thing named Red Glow, and then you mix it with powder feed and put it on horses. And my father, that Red Glow, used to get like a small spoon. So like being like strong and things like that, I used to mix and drink all of that things. So I'm naturally,
Yeah,
because most people even know that my father,
Yeah.
So like porridge and stuff, I wasn't short on anything, because what keep me fit, my father used to like glucose. My father used to feed. I don't even think people in footballers drink glucose, and my father used to mix that in water. You taste it by spoon and things like that. Especially you run all day, man. Can't get you run all day. But come in Finland, I don't have those kind of things. Of course, porridge. Because craziest thing, when I came Finland first 2 years, I couldn't find those ingredients. But then when I do find them, I know how to make them. Yeah, you have to be strong, man.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to what you were saying, because you were making a point when I said this. You're talking about the national team. We're talking about the continuity and the need to, keep players right through the system. Yes.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem with that, I think players lose interest. Like after, like myself, you're good, you're performing. I think now, as people would say, overseas based player come and take their spot. And then I think what the JFF and whatever we need to do is, like, you have a quality player, we need to make a transition. Like they have to help them also. They have to help push them. Because a team I play for a year, like the team who win the league here, every year they have a good player who's like 18, 19. They play them in the league, they give them opportunities, they put them in the national teams, they play them now and then, give them a couple minutes, so people see that they're getting a couple minutes. And then after 2 years, we have a good 19. You just represent the country. You don't have to. What Jamaica do, I think it's not only Jamaica. I think it's the club. And I've been watching your program without silently. Is what clubs do with young players. I think sign them too early to professional contracts. You can sign them to professional contracts, yes, but have a stipulation that every club in Europe do. They have a 19, 18-year-old, they send them to like a Arsenal academy. But there's still a clause in those contracts. If they make a move or they get promoted to the first team, whatever, the club that they used to play for get an incentive. So they can sign these players, you let them go, send them on loan, but collect a small fee, because I think Portmore got a small fee for me for my first year of loan.
Yeah. You know what? It's true, because in Brazil, you can't sign like 17, 18-year-old and 16-year-old to like 5-year contracts. In Jamaica, they'll sign, really and truly, you're not supposed to sign these players to these long-term contracts like we do in Jamaica. They don't need to sign more than like a maximum 2 years, right? If you sign it,
They can do have long-term contract, but the problem with those long-term contracts is also you sign them, but you send them out, as I say, on loan. And then you tell the clubs, listen, all right, if they move on, they make a transition, you give us 5, 15, 20% of what they made. And I think clubs in Jamaica need to do that. It's because how they going to make money? All right, when I play for Portmore United, hey, listen, when I play for Portmore United, to me, when I was playing for Portmore United, my Portmore United training was better than national team training.
Whoa.
Yes, because at the time, the national team fitness coach at the time was working at Portmore also. And then I think what happened to me and other lot of players, when you go Jamaica national team as a local player, what they do, from my experience, what they do to you, when you go there, they tell, oh yeah, you need to, like, they do tell you that you need to, the game need to be quicker, you need to do this quicker. But when I go to national team, I think it was like a punishment for local players. I felt that way when I play for national team. They punish you, I think. All they do is give you run-ins and things like that, only make you run. Yes, you need to be fit. Some clubs, Portmore United, I all 2 times, 3 times a week, we're doing that. But other clubs and players, when we go there, it's all about, only thing, to be honest, when I was playing national team, I was under the radar. When I go there, only thing most of the players who went to national team was happy for. It was 3 meals a day. You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Most of them, 3 meals a day. The saying was 3 meals a day, no bills to play. And you play national team, you don't have to spend any money. So most players' motivation wasn't so high, which is because when you go, you call a 25-man squad. Before they call the squad these national team, they know which 2 and 3 players they're gonna pick for that 18. So the other players, it's about,
you have any motivation.
I think, as you said, they just need to keep young players and players who play in the National League motivated. That thing's gonna happen.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. So what you're saying is that when we see them call up like a 25-man local set of players to train, really and truly, they only want 2 of those players.
Yeah,
so,
R3.
R3. So the other 22 players know that they are not needed. So they don't really have no motivation. And what you're suggesting is that there needs to be a way to motivate the players so they can keep on working. All right, good point. Somebody saying that your father's name is Joshua.
No, Charles. That's Morrison. My father is Charles Morrison.
Charles Morrison, racehorse trainer. Yeah, and then
he died a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Any big horse? Any you can say?
No. My father career and my career is always the same. We always fly under the radar.
Yeah.
We're not the biggest of anything.
Lloyd O'Connor says it figures because you run non-stop when you play. So you were saying that you probably were getting some tonic and some porridge, you know?
Well, yeah, man. Of course.
Yeah, and then Eagle Republic says the GFF is very poor when it comes to tracking players. The federation only keeps track of players in North America and England. Players elsewhere falls through the cracks.
That's a perfect point, because all right, like JFF don't have a database of their players who play outside. Yeah. And then they don't have a player who like scout the players. All right, they're gonna call a national team. They have a roster of like 30 players. You look at the 30 players, you look at their stats, what they're doing for their club, what they're doing. If they're playing for their clubs. As a striker like me, okay, he's been scoring, he have a certain farm. he's been performing well. A midfielder, he's been performing well. A defender, he's been solid in his team. They don't have a database of the players and what they're doing. They know about players. Imagine. You know Dane Kelly. Is it Dane Kelly who played in USL?
Man. Yeah, man. He played the USL. I think he has the most assists in the history of the USL.
Even most assists, I think most goal. How much national team call-up he get? How much game he play?
Yeah.
And even they mentioned one the other day, I think on your program, I was watching it. Nico Brett, how much game these guys play?
Yeah, Nico Brett was just called up for the game in Catalonia. He played like 10 minutes and he's not big. I don't understand that though. Why after all of these years, you call the man to put him in a practice game, give him only 10 minutes, and then like it bet you never call him.
It best. That's the thing. Like players like those don't get no chance. Like, and it's to be honest, it's quite rough. To be honest, as what I see, because like me, I'm to be honest, I'm really lucky because how I reached Finland it's a bit of a luck because the agent of the time was looking for another player, looking at another national team player at Portmore, and that highlight video the player sent to him, because then that player had access to computer, could get some clips of game he played, and then send some highlight video of himself to that agent. And the craziest thing about that highlight video, the agents, when he saw that highlight video, it was like my highlight video, because most of those plays that he was involved with, I was in the picture also.
Oh,
so I get contact with that agent also. So it's like, oh God, I know I have to call this player. So you see how luck. I think I'm lucky also. And then, that farm out to me being Finland also in 10 years. Because it's not so much players have that access, especially now. And I think this is where I think couple clubs do it now. I think I see Portmore doing it, of players to watch. But they need videos of these players to put out in the market. You put on YouTube, you put them out. Like, so people see them. No, everybody can make a YouTube channel, an Instagram page. The club need to push players also, because national team is not going to do it.
Yeah.
So if the national team is not going to do it, I think clubs here in Finland, they do it also. They have a good young players. They make some quick highlight videos. They send them out. The clubs need to also in Jamaica push their players, send them to the market, get some contact with some agents from all over the world or Sweden, whatever. And then, listen, we have a couple players. Push those players, make some highlight videos. How many? No, I think Sportsmax do it. They show a couple of videos on Sportsmax. Yes, the games and everything was on Sportsmax. All of these channels have games that played. These clubs need to, their top players, put them out, get some highlight clip of them, put some whatever music or things in the. You can't wait, and the clubs can't wait in Jamaica, can't wait on national team to give them a call, or agent to call them and say, yo, we need that player. The clubs have to push players, because it's business for them. These clubs have to make videos for players. And the problem with some of the clubs, to be honest, I think they use players for a couple of years, and then when they find the next good schoolboy, them get rid of you. Then them find somebody else. So it's, and I think it's sometimes you have to say I think players' fault also, because some of them, they have a good season, then next season they have a good season. To be consistent is one of the most important things in real football. Because if I wasn't, like, I'm a striker, I've been like, it's rare in football you find one striker play in one team for more than 10 years. Why? Every year I not say reinvent myself, but every year I transform. They get a new striker, my team sign 1-2 striker. Every year my aim is to be better than him. Although when we're playing together, if I'm playing to him, I pass him still. But my performance, I see that they get my performance move from year to year. Because that's how you build competition. I'm not going to see one player who I think, is really good. It competition when you play. So it's like, that's why I think I like Portmore when I was playing in Portmore also. Because a couple of years when I was playing in Portmore, you have players who was getting called to the national team. And Portmore at the time, if you can't play for the team, national team, that was some of the talks a couple times in Portmore when I played there. If you can't play that Finn, the national team coach call you. Because some players just get called because, they were in the program. But they get too called in the program. When they go back in their team, they stop performing.
Yeah. Good
The
point.
consistency drop. Consistency drop. And it's not most players, it's all about like being consistent. If I'm not scoring, I'm assisting. If you find other ways for young players, you find other ways to impact the game. Me, from I'm young, I'm not the one who's going to score 40, 50 goals a season, but I'm creating chances, not for myself or my team. So you always, as an attacking player, if some young players watching, you have to be relevant. If one part of your game is not working, you miss a chance, you create 6-5 for the other players. So it's all about that when you play.
Yeah. Listen, Stevie, I mean, I know it's getting a little later, though it's still bright sunlight out there.
It's okay, because my training is afternoon, so it's no problem.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Listen, I want to just as we're coming close to the wrap up. Listen, tell me some of the players you're gonna pick your best 11, right? From your youth football, school football, Jamaica team, club football. Who is you're going to football war? Who is your goalkeeper?
Right now, you stress me out right now, the big man.
All right, then. Okay, leave it alone then.
No, to be honest, I've played with a lot of players. You see my team.
Let's not go so far. Let's go your 5-a-side team. You and any 4.
Most of the players I'm going to tell you, they're not playing football.
That's fine.
Now we have one in Glenmuir. To be honest, I will say my lot. Cornelius Stewart. Henry. They call him bigger.
Cornelius Stewart.
No, Henry.
Cornelius Henry. What position he plays?
He was a midfielder. To be honest, one of the best I played with. Cousins. All of the players I played with in Glenmuir. James Thomas.
Yes, Dr. James Thomas.
Dr. James Thomas.
Yes.
Chantel Mundel and Cornel Lehrman. I think this guy, I don't know anybody gonna break that schoolboy record. This guy maybe scored 60-something goals last season. We played in the same team. He's one of the players also. I don't know. Never play national team or under 23.
Cornel Lehrman. Yeah.
Well,
I think because this is the thing, the whole tracking thing. Because I think because he probably went to college, because he went away to college, and James Thomas went away to college. Some of those guys, I think out of that team, I think Cousins and Eric Vernon probably are the
Francis.
2, and Sean Francis. Yeah. Are the 3 that. Because that Glenmuir team, really, there was a time when people believed like Mundel, Cousins, Vernon, Lehrman were going to be James Thomas as well. Would have been a major part because the guys I think played under 17. Most of you were in the under 20 team. Most of you played under 23, but it just stopped right there.
And to be honest, it's not our fault. Because we're still playing. And then after that, couple years after, all of us were playing Portmore, win the league with Portmore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know, man. Well, like the administrators need to look at that. But, I mean, really a good conversation. Really enjoy your time. Listen, I mean, again, I know you're under the radar, but I think a little bit more.
No,
people,
but the thing is,
go ahead.
One of the things I have to say why I think I didn't play in national team. When I was playing Premier League, I think back in the days was crazy. I played with one of the best, even the best goal scorer ever in
Ryan Nelson.
Play for Portmore.
Who couldn't play for the national team?
Yeah, Bumpy play for Portmore. Yeah. I play with people. I play game with Onandelo in Portmore United as striker.
Yeah.
I was playing a couple of games Nandelo in striker. Kevin Deere, Anthony Sasso Bennett. Like, Modest, even like those are the type of people I was playing with. Then at the time, Chinksu and them at 18, Chinksu, and I think Jamaica Premier League, to be honest, has watered down over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Those times they have 15, 20 big name players. Every club have a big name player.
That is true.
And
That
the
is
players,
true.
why
That
I
is
play
true because the Waterhouse team that time with all of those Norman Manley player. You have Andre Hicklin, Damien Powell, Irvino English. all
those
of these
people I
guys.
play against.
The Harborview team with Shelton and Fabian
German
Hale and Jermaine Yu. You had the Tivoli team with like the Jermaine Johnson and Chemo Dread and
Nick. Imagine. I played the final. I play against.
You had Constance Quinn with O'Neill McDonald after Bumpy left up there and Dino Williams. So the team, it was competitive. The Premier League, you know, every team was a.
But Mannings, those are the strikers I was competing against at Portmore. Chippy McDonald, Kevin Deere, and Andy Lowe, Ron Nelson. Those are the people I was competing with and playing at my young age, and I didn't get a chance to play. Imagine I was Chippy McDonald, Ron Nelson, Kevin Deere, Anthony Bennett. Those and Andy Lowe. Those are the players I was still playing in Portmore team with all of them playing, and I still be in the 18 and play. Imagine. That's why I think one of my difficulties that year was players like Luton Shelton was still striker playing there. When I was playing national, Ismail and King come from America playing striker.
From England.
So for me,
you were in a tough era for real.
I was in a tough era.
And because Jermaine Johnson was also playing during the Luton Shelton time as a winger as well.
Omar Daly.
Omar Daly,
I play with in Portmore. So it's like I was up against it then. When I was in my early 18, 19, 20s, I was up against after 2000, after I win that Triple Crown, the next year I win Best Young Player Premier League. So it's like all of those things I was up against it for the national team. So I don't regret it, but I think then comparing then to now on the Premier League, I think I'm not saying these players who play now are not good. They're good players. But I think
the levels are falling for real. I think the Premier League is not. It's not as there's not enough quality in the league. I can't I don't know if I can find like 5 good centre forwards in the league. When I of the 12 team, like let me see who is a top quality centre forward. I can't distinguish one. There are some good players, but I can't say that. Listen, this is a top. The leading goal scorer in the league right now is Daniel Green, who is not a centre forward. He's a winger.
Yeah.
Atafara Bargrave is an older player, 28, and it's like 12 goals, and this is like 20-something games. Right.
Imagine when Nelson. Yeah. That's the thing. Like
a winger. Cephas is a winger at Arnett Gardens. So really and truly, the centre forwards, you know, I do agree with you that the quality, the defenders, because look at the defenders.
Back in days, Claude Davis and these guys I was playing against.
Stu Pease, Little Pippi. You understand me? That's just Harborview. You have Eugene Barnes at Arnett Garden. You have like
Malcolm McDonald. I play against Dirty Man McDonald.
There you go. You have you understand? We have Warlord who was at Waterhouse. So you have all of these different players right across the league. Yeah.
I have to say this. I think back then there were men playing Premier League. They were like those were men. You know, when you say man, them a big man, them a man.
Yeah.
Like they were like still up in the age, but they're still quality and man. No, I think not to say the league don't have men in the league, but there's no standout. I think one of the only men was man play Premier League was Umberland coach Bigger.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like technically good players. No, but I don't know all because I come back Jamaica and I went and watched one Premier League game. I remember who played, I think on it. And from that I come Jamaica and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to watch no more Premier League. Because it's off. I think now we have coaches who have coaching badges, coaching the league, but it's going to be difficult for most of those players, and I wish it shouldn't be like that to make the transition in Europe. And I think that's why now, as we go back to national team, they have to go outside. so much. Imagine if why the national team call a team, we have to get 18, 20 players outside. There we're looking to England, because those players, and just to add to what you guys are saying, I remember when playing national team, I think now most of the players, I think they said desire. Most of the players who get called, I think, come to play for national teams now. Most of them only come play national team because they have to. It's not because they want to. And why they have to come and play national team? I think one of these you have to put in one of your story. Why they have to come and play national team is because their value go up when they play for national teams. So when they sign our national team player, if they want to sign for a new team, Jamaican national team player. So national team player, when most of these players, why they want to come back if they don't establish themselves so much in England, is just to play for Jamaica. So if they used to get 20,000 a week or whatever they get a week, and then a couple games they play national team, after that their value go up, it goes to 40,000 because they're a national team player. Yeah. That's why most of them want to come back to play for Jamaica. The desire is not there to come. I hear you guys talking about this story about Nation League. All right, most of these guys do actually play 50, 60 games a year. And then most of them, they don't want to play Nations League because Nation League is not going to offer them anything. World Cup qualifier will. For their teams, they play World Cup qualifiers. They go back, they tell you we qualify, they play. Most of them would like to be, I don't know, that's why the desire for them to play and try to get the team to World Cup should have been high. Because their value is going to go up. They were at 40,000 this week. They play a couple games for Jamaica, these English-based players. It go to 60, 70, 80. Yeah. So that's why most of them want to come Jamaica now. So their value go up. I think their players, as I heard you guys talking about the desire, most of them is not there. They come for holiday. They come and play, chill 2 times at beach, go to some high-class restaurant, then they come play. The result, most of them don't really care. That's it.
Okay. So I see Eagle Republic saying that the administration and promotion of the JPL has improved, but the overall quality of players have fallen. So which is what
the packaging has improved. The JPL packaging, but the quality below the packaging, it hasn't improved. The packaging, all right, say you can show, they can watch game. I can watch a game from here in Jamaican game right via internet. Those things improve. But the overall quality and everything else, it don't improve.
That is true, man. Even the goalkeeping back in them times was tough, man.
Listen, I played. That's I think why I'm so like maybe good fish.
Because midfielder you have Jason Morrison, Omar Daly. You have like the Rudolph Austin. You have like Bunzi. You have Chingsu, you have Jeremy and you. You understand me? So you have Steve Green, you had like I say, you have Irvino English, you have all of these, you have Martin.
Every club have like 6, 7, 8 top players.
Players, top. In the prime as well. You understand me? So you're right that the quality of the league has fallen. Though the coaches are more certified and the promotion is a whole lot better.
Yeah, imagine that. You get more certified coach and the quality drop.
But maybe it shouldn't be the way. Maybe over time it will improve though.
Yeah, it will be improved. Imagine like players development. I think it went backward in Jamaica. Because I think players development, I think one of the coaches, I think Jackie Walters and from the one from Excelsior, Aleman.
Yes.
I think I had one, I think you don't know him. He was, I think, Stats named Slug. He coached me. He was the one of the players one of the next person who introduced me to football. To Kingston football.
Stat?
Yes.
Yeah, man, I know Slug, man.
Yeah, I have one next story to tell you now. We have time because I don't go. If you maybe have to talk about your JFF. But Slug, those people know talented players. I don't know where this guy come and find me. I think I was playing for Jonathan Grant. He came to Spanish Town to find me.
Played for Corville?
I played for Corville.
Okay, yeah. Because Slug is from Corville.
The next thing you didn't know. I went, and the crazy is Slug get me national team also. under 17. So those people who know to find talent and nurture talent and put them out, or maybe most of them get older, but most of these people know, I think, all right, I don't know this coach from JC. They have people like those who have a lot of quality players coming up, but when they don't make the transition. When the quality is low, I think, and the transition is slower.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know what to blame. I don't know if it's a culture or whatever. Because I don't know. I remember when I'm younger playing for Coville, Slug said, listen, come. I was playing a small team in Spanish Town at 16. Listen, I'm going to bring it to Kingston. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, if you don't come to Kingston, you won't make national team. I play major league. I only go play games. And then one day tell me, listen, we're going to have a practice game with national team. I get one injury, I think, the Saturday. And he put off the game for a week time just so the national team coach saw me. I think we lose 6-3 against the national team. I scored 3 against national team. Next week, I get called. I'm on a plane to Bahamas to play for national team. So, and then after that, that's
the under 17 team? 17. Under 17, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the time I get introduced to Portmore from 17 before I even play for Jamaica. I almost signed for Portmore at 16 before I even play for. But then at that time, Jackie Walters there who tell me, listen, look about and sign a contract, continue to play football, continue to develop. At 17, I had a couple Kelmy contract signed for Puma. Jackie Walters tell me, listen, you're not ready for those because a lot of players had those big contract, shoes contract and whatever, and then after a while, they get the highlight too early, then it kill them. Neverbell coached me when I was playing coach for Portmore for a while. And he had a couple of players he was coaching, I won't say any name, and tell him they're overhyped. He tell us at Portmore that those players are overhyped. And most of those players, he tell me, none of them make the transition from then because they overhype them in that system. So then, in the back of their head, people in the community, yo, you're a big baller, you don't need to do this, you're a big baller, you don't need to do that. And then the motivation, I think most of these players, I think their circle around them, they need more positive people around them to help them. Push them away from...
They need wiser people around them. Wiser people who can...
Wiser, yeah.
Yeah, we'll tell about... I hate when people tell the players, listen, if you're playing in Jamaica, you're not no big baller, man. Big baller don't stay in Jamaica, man.
That's one of the that's one of the reasons why I respect, I think, Jackie Walters so much. He have a way to humble you. Listen, you're not ready for that. Low that. He used to tell me things like, listen, come and talk to you, because I think that's one of the reasons most coaches who coach players now, they don't know anything about them. They don't know their mother's name, they don't know their brother's name, they don't know a background about them. When I used to go to school and pay for Jackie even Walters even know all his players' girlfriend. Show some interest in your life outside football, because sometimes that's what sometimes you see you look away, I'm like, oh, I'm to you look a boy. Then you talk to him because you respect him so much. Something is not going right in your life. He try to help you and fix it. Because I think most Jamaicans are young players who play a lot of things. Maybe family, they maybe don't eat from there, eat something. How much people will encourage those players and help them? Like, listen, something here, eat some food and things like that. Help them. And then they lose motivation. Some of them, just after a while, all of them start to smoke and drink rum and boom.
Yeah.
And then them lose interest. Man see them on corner. When me used to small, the older guys see me on a corner. I'm like, where you have training? Where are they? So put me on a bicycle, bring me go training. Yo, me not on a bus fare, not on a taxi fare. A man from your community go in at them pocket and give a fare, go on a training ball. So, just move away from, I think that's one of the reasons now the communities, I think also, it's not only about football, it's the communities also. Where I grew up, certain areas can't be certain ends. Nowadays every baller dip on ends. No way. After 7 o'clock evening time, baller where there, so go in. So most people now baller sit down and have a drink. Then they know them have training tomorrow morning. Them not turn up for training, they miss training. So the background and the people around them more Jamaican young players need positive people around them.
Yeah.
And most of the time the positive people is not your family. The positive is your neighbor. Because sometimes your family you live with is negative also. Me, I'm so fortunate. That's why I'm telling you, like, these are so far. I'm so fortunate. Why I'm fortunate? Cousins and his family in Jamaica. I've never tell them this or people talk about this. They know. His mother and father take me up when I was 16 when I go live with them in Clarendon. And I think they are one of the people, they are the people who helped me in my football career also. Because his mother take me up because my mother lived in Jamaica from I was like 16 to live in London to look for a better life for me. But then I went to Glenmore and then his parents like, oh, you can come and stay with us. So then I stay with the family and I was around positive people. They helped me a lot. His mother does do so much for me. Take care of you. I wasn't her kid. His father wasn't my father, but they take care of me. And those are like people like those, I wish a lot of people have in their corner, to help them. I have friends, and I think one of the biggest thing for me was when I leave Spanish Town and go Clarendon. That transformed my life based on schooling. I ran a program a couple of weeks ago that somebody commented and said, I don't remember which program I was listening to, and they said like people know I just tell ball. I said school is important, then just go school for play football. And I think me when I went to Glenmore, I know about school, that school is important. I go Glenmore. Jonathan Grant the first year was good. I was into school because I went to school for school, not to play football at first. But when I go Glenmore the first year, when I went there, I see after school, I had 3-4 subjects a day after school. When I go home, I see guys taking up book, reading over notes. This is football I played with. I was camping with Darmin, with Chantel Mundel, Cornel Lehman, Sim James Thomas, and these guys. Looking over notes they did from in the day. Me, when I go to school, I get notes, I take notes, I put them down when I was in Jonathan Grant. It's when I go Glenmore, I know that after school we have an hour, sometimes they say an hour. Just before them eat dinner, they take up back their book, go back over the notes that they had during the day. In the day, practice all of my Chantel Mundo. That guy was so good at maths. You see them practicing maths after they get stuff like that. So it's when I transfer to Glenmore and move to Clarendon, I see things like that when I go to school. I'm like, really? Them things are happen? Nowadays, them tell footballer, you don't have to play. Me, I remember when I go Glenmore, I have to get grades to play. I have to go to school.
Wow.
To get grades to play. You have to pass those subjects to play. You have to study and pass those. You couldn't play. We had one player that year who didn't, when I played in Glenmore, one of the best midfielder we had in that play, he didn't pass his subject. He couldn't play. And then Jackie Walters used to get report from the teacher. If we don't get class, you can't. If you don't go class every week, the teachers report him. If we miss one class, you can't play weekend.
Wow. Somebody said, John, youth, so many people out there like Ricardo Cousin parents, and we need to highlight them. A lot of people make it seem like only bad in our country. So big up to Cousins. And there's a lot of persons, the Cousins family help still in it. It's just that they don't.
Yes, the Cousins family, them love football and love like.
I think they're instrumental in what's the name of the club? Veer. I think they're involved in Veer now. Or they were, I don't know if they still are, but they help a lot of family for real. So big up to the Cousins family.
But Ricardo Cousins, his mother and father, they help so much about like Glenmore students also. And I think that's like, I think maybe where I come from and where I grew up, I think most people, as I said to you nowadays, these coaches are qualified coaches, but the problem with them, they don't have qualified players. They qualify to only play football, and I think it should and you have to have a balance also. You have to help these kids. How many people, as I say, I live in a house when we had a house where the Joseph Party manager was a past student of. We used to dam there, and then I come after school and see guys reading over notes, studying and things like that. I don't know. Before I go Glenmore, I didn't know anything about, oh, you have exam, you study. I only remember, I have exam 2 day time, I start to study, you know? And I think it's the schooling system. I go Glenmore, I think, if not, it's still the best school in Jamaica to me. It is. Every 3 weeks, you get an exam of what you did the 3 weeks ago. So you have to study to pass those. And then you have the major exam couple months time. So, like, you know, as I said, this is also for young players. Listen, you need positive people, and the schooling is also important to have a balance. And I have to tell you this, I feel sorry and I feel bad because when I just transitioned, when I just left Spanish Town, this slug, stats coach, I think I have most of these people, they help me also. He was one of the person who tell me, yeah, man, you can't say you can't do an interview. Imagine how much young players or football players we have in Jamaica doing interview, and how they saw now when, yeah man. Because I was Spanish Town, I used to always say that. And he used to carry me and so like sit down and talk to me, like he interview me, like ask me questions and tell me you can't say yeah man, you have to say yes. Know how to speak, you know? And I think those are the things I think clubs also, if they're watching, need to help players to do.
To
Express themselves.
Yes.
How to express themselves. We have too much top athletes are Jamaican also and football players. The interviews, when you listen to them, they sound like that like where they come from. You need to tell them how to do interviews. Clubs need to have a person who come in, sit every week, not only playing football. If they ask a question, what do you think after the game? How to speak, how to answer question. You know, you don't have to be the most intelligent person in the world, but knowing how to speak, I think, can help you. Because that's one of the things I think players who come and play for my team also here in Jamaica, in Finland. They don't know how to express themselves, so when they're trying to do it, they sound angry.
Yes.
So and then imagine speaking to somebody who first language is Finnish and not English. They're trying to understand you, and then you sound angry. So you come across as like, vulgar and things like that.
All right. Listen, Stephen, we're going to have to run because it's up on the, is it now? The 2 hour mark. But listen, hey, very, very great interview. One thing do I know? What's the first part of my name? Mannings. All right. So I mean, so the top
at the school?
You know that.
The only good thing I think come from Mannings was doing car.
No, they're talking about football. They're talking about doing car.
I know because I play under 17 with him.
We're doing car. No, man. No. But you know, hear about it. We are talking about. What am I talking about, man? No, getting at the Mannings thing. The Mannings is a big school, you know. Big school.
Listen, man. The only thing we know, I'll tell you this. Mannings, the only thing we know.
1730. See, I call the JC man, them start now, so be a problem, you know. 189 road.
Yeah, only thing we know Mannings Hill Road. Mannings Hill Road. No more Mannings. I was school at. Until the CC people who support CC is like, it's the other day CC get relevant when Jackie Walters go dig them out of the ground.
CC get relevant.
Yeah, when after Glenmore started them things, Jackie Waters go
must
dig
be
up.
happy that the CC man them not on the stream today, because you'll be under pressure.
Tell them say Jackie Walters have to them be in a hole and Jackie Walters have to come and dig them out.
Big up Bubba Sparks. Life without learning is dead. The big old 1738 from out the west.
Yeah, all right, yeah, man. Yeah, your West friend them are at me now.
Yeah, man, but bless up. Listen, thanks for the time. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. Really good conversation. I hope the youngsters out there would have listened and learned some of the things that you have said and add those things to their life to make things better. Hope to talk to you again. Maybe we're gonna have some more communication. Yeah, man. So be safe.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more, but I know you have your problems with your friends and for tomorrow, JFF and things like.
Yeah, and the press conference is about to start as well, and you know.
Okay, so go on. But tell your friends don't kill anybody. You just push them out, but don't kill them.
All right, boss. Yeah, man.
All right, thank you, Mannings.
Yeah, man. Bless up. All right. All right, there you go, people. Our conversation with Stephen Morrissey. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation. Hope you enjoy it. Remember, if you have not yet hit the like button, please go ahead and do so. Also, if you have not yet subscribe to the channel, make sure you subscribe. The press conference is about to get going, so I'm going to jump over and get onto that, and then when it is finished, we'll come back and share with you a little bit from it. It should be a fiery press conference, given all that we have been hearing. So let's see. But thanks to every single one of you. Thanks to Steven, thanks to his agent who made this happen, made this interview possible. Really, really appreciate it. Again, people, be safe, enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, man. I am Manning's man. This has been I Am Sure Sports, the 1738, the ancient light of learning in splendor, shining over all the US. Bless up one and all.
Yo, watch about dog, SK New Air this. The body out there, Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Ocherase, Galtigo Bay. Everywhere. I Am Sure Sports. Check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like? Ha! Yeah, someone on for the food from young, from where they knee height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.